You ever feel like you're kind of fighting your own brain, like it's got its own agenda for what you should focus on or how you should feel? Well, what if I told you there's a user's guide? And we're going to open it up right now. Let's dive in.
So, it all starts with something we've all felt, right? You sit down, you're trying to focus, but your mind's a million miles away. Or maybe you have an amazing day, but that great feeling, it just sort of fades. The thing is, this isn't some personal failing. Nope. It's actually a built-in feature of your brain's basic programming.
Okay, so let's think about your brain like it's a supercomputer. I mean, it really is. And before you can install any new apps or software, you've got to understand the operating system that came pre-installed from the factory. Its default settings that are running 24/7, mostly in the background.
And one of those key default settings? Well, it explains why winning the lottery doesn't actually make you happy forever. It's this idea called the hedonic treadmill. See, your brain has this kind of happiness set point, and no matter what happens, a huge win or a tough loss, it works really hard to drag you right back to that baseline.
Now, this hedonic treadmill thing, it's really just one piece of a much bigger puzzle, a biological principle called homeostasis. Think of this as your brain's master program for maintaining balance. I mean, everything from your body temperature to your mood, it's constantly making these tiny little tweaks to keep everything stable. It's like the ultimate factory reset button, always pulling you back to center.
So what happens when you're not, laser focused on a task? Let's say you're just daydreaming in line for coffee. Your brain isn't just off. Oh no. It's running this incredibly powerful background program. You can think of it like a screensaver, but instead of flying toasters, this thing is literally building your sense of self. It's called the default mode network, or DMN. And this so-called idle time, it's absolutely crucial. The DMN is where all the magic happens. It's where you reflect on who you are, where you pull up old memories, where you imagine creative solutions to problems. You even use it to plan for the future and try to figure out what other people are thinking. It's basically the engine of your entire inner world.
Okay, but what happens when this beautifully tuned operating system gets corrupted? Because in our modern world, we're constantly bombarded with things, lifestyle factors, that act just like computer viruses, and they cause system slowdowns, glitches, and sometimes even total crashes.
So let's talk about the two biggest threats, the two most dangerous viruses attacking your system. First, you've got sleep deprivation. That's like forcing your computer to skip its essential nightly maintenance and cleanup cycle. Then there's chronic stress, which is like a blaring alarm signal that never turns off, literally corroding the hardware from the inside out. Both of these are just incredibly damaging.
And this isn't just theoretical. I mean, look at this powerful personal story. It really highlights how high the stakes are. We now know that decades of poor sleep are linked to some absolutely devastating neurological conditions. So this leads to the big question, right? Why? Why is sleep so ridiculously important for that system maintenance?
Well, the answer has a name: the glymphatic system. This is your brain's dedicated nightly cleanup crew. When you hit deep sleep, this system kicks into high gear, flushing out all the metabolic junk and waste that builds up while you're awake. So skipping sleep? It's literally like letting the garbage pile up inside your computer's most delicate circuit.
Okay, and what about that other virus, stress? Well, chronic stress floods your system with a hormone called cortisol. And over time, really high levels of cortisol can literally strip away the insulation, it's called myelin, from your brain's wiring. This messes everything up. It slows down the communication between your neurons and dramatically increases the risk for major system crashes like depression and anxiety disorders.
All right, so our brains have these default settings, and they're super vulnerable to viruses. I know, that might sound a little bleak, but here comes the amazing part, the best part. Your system isn't fixed. It's not set in stone. You can actually install a powerful software update that lets you fundamentally upgrade its performance.
And that incredible upgrade is called neuroplasticity. It's this simple but totally profound idea that your experiences, your behaviors, even your thoughts can physically change your brain's structure and how it works. Your brain is constantly remodeling itself based on what you feed it.
So let me just say that again, because if you take away one thing from all of this, let it be this: you are not stuck. You have the power to actively rewrite your own neural code. You just need to know which tools to use.
All right, so let's open up the toolkit. And look, these aren't some mystical secrets or weird life hacks. These are powerful, science-backed practices for tapping into neuroplasticity to seriously improve your brain's health and performance.
Tool number 1, mindfulness meditation. The research here is just incredible. We know that a regular meditation practice directly quiets down that chattering default mode network. But it goes way beyond just feeling calm. Studies show it can physically increase the density of your gray matter, that's the processing part of your brain, in the brainstem, which is critical for regulating all your automatic systems. And what's the result? Better focus and way more control over your emotions.
Okay, next up in the toolkit is restorative sleep. Now, we already talked about sleep as a defense against those viruses, but it's also a powerful proactive tool. Seriously, prioritizing sleep is the single best way to make sure that cleanup crew is doing its job, that your neural circuits are getting recharged, and, this is huge, that everything you learned today is actually being saved to your long-term hard drive.
And tool number 3 is physical exercise. And honestly, this one is a total game changer. Exercise boosts blood flow, which shoots more oxygen and nutrients straight to your brain. But here's the amazing part. It can actually trigger the growth of brand new brainstem cells, especially in key areas for memory, like the hippocampus. This directly enhances your ability to learn and remember stuff.
So let's do a quick recap of the toolkit. You've got mindfulness, which dials down that DMN for better focus. You've got sleep, which kicks on the glymphatic system for a deep clean. And you've got exercise, which ramps up blood flow for a better memory. We could even throw in something like heat therapy, like using a sauna, which triggers what are called heat shock proteins to protect your neurons. It's a simple, but man is it a powerful set of tools.
And all of this brings us to the final and I think the most empowering part of this whole user's guide. See, you don't just have to be a user of your brain's operating system. You can become the system administrator.
Think about it. Every single day, with every choice you make, you are literally writing code. That decision to meditate for 10 minutes instead of scrolling on your phone, the choice to go to bed on time, to get up and take a walk. These aren't just small, insignificant actions. They are lines of code, and you are actively programming the very structure and function of your own brain.
Look, your brain is constantly being shaped. That is a guarantee. It's going to be shaped by something. By stress, by distraction, by the environment around you. That's not up for debate. So the only real question left is, are you going to be the one shaping it?